Well, mahalo as we look at OKO Knife Counter number 9. This is going to be an attack from our 12 o'clock in our green zone. Opponent has the knife in his right hand in a, shall we call it a hammer type grip. Now, blade can be either down or up. In this particular case, let's look at it from a knife down, edge towards my opponent, not edge away. As we're taking a look at this, so let's say he's hiding the knife. Maybe it's in his sleeve, or maybe he has it tucked in his waistband. He's going to be away from you, talking, he's getting handsy. All of a sudden, he's going to distract and bring that knife in. Whether that's going to be a line 1 or his line 3 attack, either way, this technique's going to work. Play with it either on a line 1 or a line 3 attack. Once again, as he's coming in, my left leg's going to be slightly forward. We want to decrease the gap. I don't want him to get to his point of apogee. Once he grabs that knife and he's starting to wind up, whether he winds up low or high, as that knife comes, we need to respond. We need to go to a zone of sanctuary. As we talked about zones of sanctuary before, there's a total of 6. 1 in each of the 4 corners in a circular weapon, right immediately in front of our opponent or right immediately behind. In this particular case, I want to decrease the gap and go to the zone of sanctuary immediately in front of my opponent. So as I do so, I'm going to step forward with my left leg that's already partially forward. We're already in a pre-position. As I step forward, I'm going to respond. Now, whether that is a vertical outward knife hand block or an upward outward knife hand block, depending on the attack, line 1 or line 3. As he does so, my right hand is now going to respond as we have done before. I'm going to use that ridge hand and rolling, or a forearm strike up and underneath the arm, and as my left hand is grabbed to deviate, deflect, and control the weapon, DDCD, I'm going to bring my other hand up. I'm now going to shift weight, borrowing balance and borrowing force from my opponent for the knee, whether it's a roundhouse knee or a straight knee, depending on the body position of my opponent. Now, once I have control, I've sunk my elbows in, I can either step to reverse to create a part of the planet I want to hit him with, or I can upclock, pizza slice, to bring him down. Using the 6-point lock. He came in like this. I'm going to block and grab. Ridge hand comes up underneath, and as I grab the weapon, I'm going to point it towards his 11, 12 o'clock, or excuse me, 4:30 or 6 o'clock to bring it up and behind him, creating a negative body posture. As I have that negative body posture, I'm going to either in-place stance change or step the reverse to bring him down. As I bring him down, I want to make sure that I have the shoulder crank. Remember, the shoulder crank is making sure that the right shoulder is not on the ground as he lands. You want to leave it in air. I'm going to continue the rotation of the weapon. The weapon is here. My left hand covering his right hand. I'm going to bring it up in front of me, opening up the gate, and I can strip the weapon by striking at the handle, opening the thumb, or whether I want to attack the thumb and then strip the weapon. After I strip the weapon, I still control the hand, and then follow up, cross out, and cover. As I follow through, in my particular case, since I know my exit is immediately behind me, almost towards my 6 o'clock, I'm going to go 45-degree angle towards my avenue of exit. Left leg covers, I've got this 180 degrees. Foot steps out, and as I rotate, now I have the other 180 degrees covered, and I exit. There's also a secondary exit for me. I have my 6, but I also have my 130. If I follow through cover, I'm going to stomp to make sure that he's not going to follow me. I'm going to step out. I've got this 180 degrees covered. Step the reverse, this 180 degrees, and I have my avenue of exit. So what concepts and principles have we covered here in OKO Knife Counter number 9? We have covered zones of sanctuary. I want to decrease the range. I want to control my distance to create a zone of sanctuary. We have deviate, deflect, and control the weapon. Every time we have a weapon, knife, club, or gun. We have a 6-point lock in the 4-figure lock, also sometimes known as yonkyo. We borrow balance and borrow force with the knee, giving us the time and modify the computer for the takedown with either the step through reverse or the up clock. We have the difference between the step through reverse and the in-place stance change, depending upon, obviously, the height of our opponent, their mass, their body type, or the height difference between the defender to the opponent. Also, it could be an environmental difference. Let's say there's a chair next to me, and I want to use the chair as a barrier between me and the next guy. Let's say if we're doing this, I've got a chair here on my left. I can either use the chair as a barrier between the next opponent, or I might use it to crash my opponent into it. As I bring him into this technique, step, strike, hook, knee. If I want to hit the chair and then hit him with the planet, in this particular case, I might use a step the reverse to then throw him into the chair. If I want to use it as a barrier, I'm going to need to create space between me and the chair to plop my opponent down as a barrier between me and my next opponent. So for instance, once again, it's just slightly to my left, step in, strike, hook, knee. I'm going to use the up clock. Notice now I've created a space for me to hit him with the planet, control the weapon. In this particular case, I'm going to exit to 45 degrees away from my opponent this way. With that, this has been a little bit more of a deep dive, concepts and principles in OKO Knife Counter number 9. Aloha, mahalo, and live pono.